It was a project very business-oriented regarding recruitment and HR in general. So the business added value is huge because it's the way to collaborate better with recruiters to recruit better as well. The talents management is a very high focus of this project. So I would say that business added value is huge.
I think what's really unique about the Capstone project is it gives you kind of that full life cycle experience of a proof of concept. So everything from understanding the key pain points of the business into data collection exploration, considering things like privacy and other concerns, all the way through to modeling and then delivering the final solution with a demo that looks great and it's going to show the client what it is you've been working on in a really tangible way. And I really find that that whole life cycle experience is something that you're not going to get from a course, and it really lets you learn a bit more about what the realities are in an organization, what the challenges are, which you wouldn't normally experience from a course curriculum in a typical classroom setting. So I definitely think that having that understanding of the full AI delivery path is really going to be something that I'll leverage in the future in my career as I start to take on kind of these longer term projects similar to the Capstone. I suspect that I'll look back to this experience as a way to think about how can you start from the business problem and really deliver an effective solution for the client right up until the modeling and the delivery.
What was helpful during this experience is working in a team with each team member having different responsibilities and learning how to communicate and coordinate to make sure that the end product is reasonable and decent for the client. And another thing that was also really interesting was to work with the client and some of the stakeholders and the businesses and understanding how the tool that we're building is going to help them improve, their business processes and also help other businesses.
So the Capstone project, helped me improve my technical skills. It also gave me a depth into the business acumen. And also I was able to cover more of the stats knowledge. And with these three combinations, definitely I'll be able to land the next job where if I'm able to be interacting with stakeholders, I have that business background now, I can be able to interact with the stakeholders. If there's a technical team that I need to work with the knowledge, with the Capstone, I'll be able to fit in nicely and work with the technical teams. And anything that can come in between, I'll be able to, cover my part and, bring value to the company.
I'd say it's a great practice especially if you haven't had a full-time position before, because it gives you that opportunity, I think, to do a client discovery where you're interacting and trying to really understand what the thought process is, what the current state is of the company, what they've done so far at this point that's leading them to look for a solution that potentially you can provide. And I think that's something that I found valuable, is that you got that chance to kind of practice that skill, practice that these competencies around understanding what different stakeholders are looking for, and do that outside of a full-time job where it might be pretty risky if you're misinterpreting the goals or not really understanding the metrics that are defining a project. I think that in those scenarios, it's really helpful to have a capstone project like this where you have a little bit more room to explore and practice these skills before you're actually on the job and you really want to deliver immediately and show that you know what you're doing already at that point.
From the beginning of the project, I would say that McGill understood what is AI delivery. So the team is very versatile and multidisciplinary team. So we have data engineers, we have data scientists, we have business analysts. So it was very interesting for me to see how he's going and what is the outcomes. And today I'm convinced, really, really very happy to see that it's incredible outcomes.